Well, hello. So today we're going to talk about a health crisis that is happening in Utah, which is the porn health crisis. Yes, there's a porn epidemic in Utah, and Utah Republican Senator Tom Whaler, has introduced a resolution to basically name porn as a public health crisis. Now, why is porn a public health crisis in Utah? Why is Utah one of the leading states in downloading porn, in subscription to porn sites? Why? Why is that? Well, let me tell you. Anytime people have sexual needs, people have sexual desires and sexual curiosity. So anytime you put a lid on that, it's like a it's gonna it keeps pushing. It keeps pushing and eventually it just pops all over. Just that's what happens. And that's what's happening with religious people with the lack of education and with the lack of acceptance to their sexual desires. So there are people that are religious that are gay. There are people that are religious that have a deep desire for sex, and because their religion hinders them from having that conversation with their partners or with other people, and to allow to investigate and educate themselves as to what is the proper way. Because, for instance, Utah is hindering the communication about condoms. So when a person has these urges and these desires, and are pushed by them, and if there's a lack of education about condoms, and how the person could end up with AIDS, and if that or herpes or many other diseases, and then that person would, because of their lack of education about condoms, is spreading that disease to various other individuals because of their lack of education about sex, about condoms, about sexually transmitted diseases, because of all those different elements. And so, because Utah has such a uh, lack of desire to educate itself on the rainbow that is sexuality. Now, when you see European countries and their education system about sex, it starts at a very young age. It starts teaching children about love, about relationships, about their understanding their own bodies, about what's going on, about their transformation. And you see it as in the societies in Europe. There's a drastically drop of number in rapes and in sexual crimes. So you see a drastic lack of that because the children and the community are very well educated about sex, about condoms, about various different elements of sex, and they are able to make the decision that is best for them because of the education that they've received in a vast array, rather from a religious particular standpoint, which is you only have sex in order to get married, and that's it, and no talks about it, and just missionary, and that's it. So when you have that particular mindset, people get curious. People get, what about that? I'm like, no, don't even look at that. And then the more you tell them, don't look at that, the more they'll be like, oh, maybe I want to look at it. It's like alcohol, like prohibition. Anytime you have, or drugs, anytime you're consistently telling something, no, 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 then they're gonna be like, yes, 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 yes. There's various different drugs that I never tried because I study biological psychology. I know the effects of cocaine. I know the effects of heroin. I know the effects, and I've also studied individuals that have had the disease. I've seen the effects that it has on the lives of individuals, as well as sexually transmitted diseases and many other different things. So that education allows me to make better choices as a mature human being. If I had had these more education when I was younger rather than two individuals. Basically, our sex talk was when you put two woods together and you glue them and you pry them apart, they still have pieces of each other. That was our sex talk in high school. Nothing about condoms, nothing about anything, just two pieces of wood together that were glued, and when you tried to pry them apart, they still had pieces of each other, which is very true, which is very deep. When you're having sex with somebody, you're sharing your soul. You're sharing your soul with that individual, and you're sharing energy. It's a very powerful prayer. So, in order to understand this prayer, in order to have it work for us, in order to have it be aligned to love, we need to have education. So that way people, because people, they want love, but they have, some people are gay and they want love, but they're gay. So we to tell those individuals who love each other not to have a relationship? What is our stake on those particular relationships? That's my question to you. And I wish you, what do you think about this whole situation? Do you believe that education is the key to removing uh, this porn epidemic? Because I do think that to a certain degree, porn can be very damaging and can be very addicting to individuals. So I think that it's degrading, and it makes most porn makes individuals into pieces of meat. It removes that element of love. So with that in say, yes, it is an epidemic. It is an epidemic that is hindering the relationships that people have with one another. But you can't. It's almost like you want to treat cancer. If it's almost like skin, you have skin cancer. So the best way to treat it, you think, is put lotion on it. That's not going to work. So, what do you think? I wish you a wonderful year. Take care.